So there has been this conversation around startups not contributing to the job market, that SMEs and SMBs hire more people than startups do. And I think that statement is said out of care that businesses in general should hire more people. But the reality of startup was that the attraction of investors and businesses to startup is simply because a very small team can build a massively scalable business that does not need or does not require you to hire more people as you grow, or at the same level of a normal small business. Let me give you an example. Uber is basically playing in the same industry as taxis, right? And a traditional taxi business, if you have a taxi in a city, you have an office in that city, you have staff in that city to manage that space. You also need to hire drivers for each of your taxi. And then you need to have a garage that repairs this taxi and all of that. And then you have Uber. Uber does not care where you get your car from as long as the car is clean. The only people that Uber pays are, their staffs. They don't pay drivers as staff. So drivers are basically not full-time staff. So now imagine a taxi company want to use technology to improve their services, right? They can hire a studio, a technology studio, a firm to do that for them. But the core of their business is hiring drivers, buying cars. So you can see that it is capital intensive. For every growth they want to achieve, they need to get people involved. But a startup like Uber can get into a new city and just allow the app to be accessible, and people can bring their car on the platform and use Uber. But as you can see, in a city like that, if they want to get 2,000 drivers, they don't need to hire 2,000 people. They only need to hire a couple of people to run that city's office and allow for customer support and all of that. That is the difference between a startup and an SME or SMB or a traditional business. And the attraction in the startup idea is that for the same money you require to build a traditional business, let's just say you take about, $1 million to build a taxi business in multiple cities, that same $1 million can go a longer way for a startup because you do not need to incur the cost of buying cars, hiring staff, and paying them off. As a matter of fact, if you do not have a demand in that country, or that city, you can decide to pull out. The whole idea is that startups can run at scale, expand at scale with limited funds and limited team size. The idea that startups should hire more people to improve job markets isn't what was designed for. So what can be done differently is startups can build products that, like what we have right now, which is the gig economy, to provide access to jobs and provide access to a better life to the populace. And I know there is a few startups out there that are doing that aggressively. We also have startups out there that are providing education so that people can have a better access to jobs and a better living standards. So yes, direct access to jobs, startups are not designed to create that. It's the job of SMEs. So yes, let's not mix it up. There's a purpose for each business type. And if you are an SME trying to build a startup, you may not really need to waste your time doing that. Go to the bank, raise traditional finance, and build your business and be sustainable.